Hey, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you at. Appreciate you tuning in to another episode of Untouchable Conservative. And we are getting right into it. These teen takeovers are really becoming a problem. They are becoming a problem for all of these liberal cities, and nobody seems to have an answer for them. So, back in my day, we were afraid of our parents. I think now these young kids are friends with their parents. And a lot of these kids now are, they're growing up a lot faster. And when I was growing up, you did something wrong, you was getting your ass whooped by your auntie, your uncle, your mama, your daddy, your grandmama, the lady down the street, then the other lady down the street. These kids now, they just running loose, man. They running wild. And it's just no accountability now for nothing. Don't nobody care, and everybody is out of answers. And I was talking to a lady at my job, and she was talking to me about her sister whooped her child, and CPS took the child. But I'm telling you, I'm telling your parents, man. I'm telling all the parents out there, whoop your kids, man. If you don't whoop your kids, then they're going to end up in jail. They're going to end up dead or in jail. I'm telling you, especially if they're young black men, they're going to end up in jail or dead. I'd rather have CPS take my kids because I whooped them than me not whooping them. At least when the CPS take them, they're going to have some structure. Because the devil is attacking all of our children right now. The state is saying that, you can't whoop your child. Man, you need to do what you need to do for these kids to discipline them. I'm not saying you should beat them, but you gotta whoop them when they're young, man. You gotta nip that in the bud, man. But in the city of Detroit, they trying to up penalties to the parents. But a lot of these kids not really in their parents' lives. They getting raised by their grandmothers or their aunties or the streets. And I blame a lot of this on this rap music that they're listening to, man. Y'all know I'm not a big advocate for kids listening to rap music, man. I think rap music is destroying black culture. I think it's destroying our community. I think it's cancer in the children of our mind. All rap is creating a mental environment of depression, destruction, and lack thereof intelligence. And it's teaching our young women to be hoes, and it's teaching the young men to be pretend gangsters and pretend flaunting artists out here. Most rappers are in debt, and that's all rap music is doing, is just teaching our kids to destroy each other. And that's how the devil comes. He comes in the form of music, and that's the easiest access for them. For a child. A child doesn't know that a rapper is really in debt. A child doesn't know that a rapper is really depressed. A child doesn't know that a rapper is really running for their life. A child doesn't know that that rapper who's on that song rapping about shooting somebody or stealing somebody, they're out on parole. They're out on bond. They don't know that they'll never be able to see their children if they go to jail for gun possession. So it's a combination of a lot of things, and I honestly think these children just need to be held as adults, because penalizing the parents, it really, in my opinion, it really ain't gonna do a lot. It's not a direct penalty to the person who's doing it, and a lot of these kids really ain't kids. A lot of these kids is 18, 19, 20 years old, so these kids that we say are kids, they really ain't kids, you know what I'm saying? But in the city of Detroit, man, and I noticed in Chicago, these kids are just running rampant. I don't even feel safe going downtown Detroit, not because of my safety, but because of them. Because I'm a CPL holder, and I don't want to have to use deadly force, but if I'm getting jumped by 6 or 7, 8 kids, what can I do? They saying these young people are going up to elderly people and having them give them their phone, and they having them transfer all their funds to their account. So they getting clever with this shit, man. They getting clever with it. And it's sad that the summer is just beginning, and it's already off to a bloody start. One or two kids already done got shot in Detroit over these teen takeovers. And in the city of Chicago, they said over the Memorial Day weekend, 21 people have gotten shot. So these liberal cities, man, they got to get it together. They got to get it together. Mary Sheffield and Brandon Johnson are on the hot seat. And it's sad because the majority of kids who are taking place in this are young black men and women. And I do believe that a lot of these children are just up to just do no good. They just up to rob, to kill, steal, and destroy. That's what they want to do when they go downtown, especially downtown Detroit. They just want to kill, steal, and destroy. That's their mission. They don't have any guidance. So I don't want to go downtown anymore in the city of Detroit. I go downtown in my boat, and that's about it. I'm not interested in trying to do nothing with these teen takeovers, because I don't want to hurt nobody. And that's one thing I learned as I get older. If I ain't got to be somewhere, I ain't going. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to take one of these young children's life, because they tried to rob me. I don't think I can live with that, with taking a child's life. But like I said, what can you do if it's 5 or 6 of them and they jump you? Like they said in Chicago, they jumped an old lady, but that'd be kind of hard for me to deal with. So I just choose to stay from downtown Detroit, but the mayors of these liberal cities, they got to do something about this. It's untouchable, conservative, I'm out.